and we just failed over and over and over again, but
in really creative ways.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome to ProspHer Collective with Allie and Amanda. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like what you hear today, please like this video, and even better, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to join us in open communication and conversation, go to our Facebook group, join. It's completely free.
We would love it.
Today, we're going to talk about something that I have struggled with a lot in my own life, and I know Allie has as well, and that is the fear of failure.
I think everybody. I think if you're growing, you're struggling with the fear of
And if you're
failure.
wanting to grow, but not knowing how, or feeling stuck and stagnant, it is that fear of failure that is holding you stuck.
Yes, for sure. And we love excuses, right? I feel like when you are afraid of something, the natural inclination is to come up with different excuses that don't allow you to act. So my favorites are, I don't have time for this, right? Like I may have a goal that I want to accomplish, and then I'm like, I don't have time for that. And so like I use that as
it's not the right time in my life to pursue that.
Yes, especially with kids, right? Like we find that we use probably kids as an excuse a lot.
Or saying like, all of my focus should be going to my kids right now. They're like kids, they're little, they have all these needs, and I just need to focus on them. And it's not about me, it's not about myself.
Yes, for sure. So you may use kids, time. Another one may be that I have no idea how to get started. I feel like that fear and that excuse of like, I have no idea to do, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't know enough to get started.
I don't have a plan.
Yes.
And I don't have it scoped out of where it's going, so.
Or you may have a plan, but you may think it's garbage, right? Like,
or you're just gonna stay in planning mode and always be too afraid to go into action mode.
That's actually probably my excuse of choice.
I
love planning and planning and planning, and then never acting.
Like one of the biggest struggles in my life was deciding to go back to school and finish my bachelor's degree. It probably sounds very simple, but for me, I made excuses for 12 years why I couldn't go back and finish school.
But were you scared? Like, was it real? Was it?
I was afraid that I couldn't do it, that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't capable of finishing my degree. And my husband got really sick of me complaining and saying I wanted it, and he was like, just register, apply to college, go online, try 2 classes, and like prove yourself wrong. And I did take 2 classes, and I failed one of my first quizzes in that class, and I was freaking out.
So yeah, you probably had that moment where like, see, I told you, the fear was right and accurate.
But I had started and paid all of that money for the class, so I was like, oh, heck no. And I studied, I learned how to study for those quizzes, and I had several more, and I ended up getting an A in the class. And then each semester I mastered going back to school and what that took, and I got better at it.
And did your fear go away?
It did. It got easier
because
where
you acted, and then you received confidence because you
even though and I even had failures along the way. I had things that didn't go as I planned that they would, but I finished my degree. It took me 12 years of whining and complaining about it. So today, like, our hope is like, look inside of yourself. What is holding you back? What is your kind of on recorder repeat excuses that you make over and over to yourself? What is holding you back from moving on to like actually going after your dreams and your goals?
I think like after you like figure out what your excuses are, so you have like your goal or what you're trying to accomplish and you have your excuses, but then like take that step back and look like, okay, what is the actual fear that it's like that I'm allowing these excuses to have, right? Is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear that you're not smart enough? Is it the fear that your family's gonna judge you? Like what is like the actual
fear? You don't have enough time.
Yep, not enough money.
That you're not gonna be a good enough mom.
Yes. So like find what that like that fear is, and I think just recognizing that fear.
And then question it.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. How do you question it? Like give us an example of like questioning a fear.
I think part of it is saying, why do I think I'm gonna fail going back to college or starting my new business, right? All the reasons you think you're gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
But why, what would it take for you to succeed? What do you have that would make it successful? For me, like most of the time when I start something, I'm stubborn and I refuse to throw in the towel until I finish it.
Yes.
So I think knowing what your strengths are too, it's that I'm not the smartest in the room. I'm not the most athletic in the room. But if I'm a hot mess even along the way, but I don't give up, I'm still gonna reach the finish line. It just might take me longer.
I do love that. So like what Amanda's saying, right, is all those fears, and then if you really why do I fear this? Like why am I like looking at this from like fear versus like, hey, what is my strength in that versus like what is like, we always just go to the negative. As humans, we just look at the negative. We look at our imperfections versus like what we're really good at.
We might look at, I'm the C student. She's the A student.
But the C student still gets degrees.
She's way more organized. I'm a hot mess who can't keep all my crap together.
It reminds me of a Michael Jordan quote that he says he fails he misses 9,000 baskets, right? He loses 26 games by him missing the shot, game-winning shot, that he's lost over 300 games. But what do you think of Michael Jordan?
In my opinion, he is the best basketball player in history.
That's because we're old.
Yes. You might argue that Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, they got nothing on Michael Jordan.
So true. But you look how many failures that he had throughout his career, but you don't associate that with it. He said
that without all of those failures, he would have never succeeded. So it's recognizing that failure and failing over and over is a necessary ingredient to success. You cannot have success without failure.
Yeah, I mean, we can tell you our examples in the story, right? So we, Amanda was staying home with her kids. I had just got out of another business that I had sold, and we both had younger babies at the same time, and we wanted to get into investing in real estate, but we just didn't know how, right? So we just this fear. It took me 2 years. 2 years. I looked back, I'm 2 years for us to really start to take action, that we just that fear and that unknown.
And we even stayed somewhat stagnant.
Yeah.
I mean, we were making little tiny micro movements.
But it was movement, right? There's no timeline with success. There's no timeline to hit your goal unless you're hey, I want to do this in 5 years. But as long as you're so we started, we just okay, we need to get started, right? So we decided hey, we want to do something we can be in the day-to-day. So we opened a property management company.
With barely any doors to manage.
And no experience whatsoever besides
we just took a week-long course, got our license.
And then we jumped in.
And we started by doing the crap work. We were wiping floors and picking up garbage. And
we just failed over and over and over again. But
in really creative ways.
Yeah. Each time we failed, we tried to learn and grow from it, right? It's dumb to fail and then not learn anything from it. And it's really smart, and all the most successful people in the entire world, athletes, business people, they fail and they learn. There was
an author, John Maxwell.
Yep.
He teaches the success cycle. And we start by testing, so we're trying something new.
Yes, action.
And then we fail.
Inevitable.
We learn from that failure, and then we improve because of it. And then we re-enter that cycle. We test, we fail, we learn, we improve, and we just keep re-entering. Like, that is the ingredient to success, is
Yes.
following that test, fail, learn, improve, and then do it again.
Repeat. I will say, right? Like, you can't just do that cycle. It's not a cycle you just do 1 or 2 times. It's a cycle you do over and over and over and over and over
entire
again.
lives.
Yes.
I think it even correlates. I think you can think of it as being a parent. We fail over
Yeah.
and over as
Our
parents,
kids can attest.
but because we love our kids and like we're willing to do whatever it takes, we just get up and we keep trying. And it's applying that same principle
Yes.
to whatever our personal goals are. Don't give up on yourself. Keep being willing to fail and take those chances on yourself. You're willing to do it for your loved ones. In a
Yes.
heartbeat, you would do that cycle over and over to
True.
be the successful kind of parent that you want to be because you love your kids unconditionally.
Yes.
But do that for yourself.
Well, your goal is kind of like a baby, right? It's like our business is like it's a little infant now. She's like 3 or 4, so right? But like, that's the same thing you're doing for your business or for your goals or whatever you want to do, is you treat it just like your baby. You have to go through that process. You have to love it. You have to work on it. You have to be there for it.
And I think showing our kids we're willing to fail on ourselves
Yes.
also helps them, and showing them that we're going to go after our dreams and pursue the things that we love and we're passionate about. We end up showing up better and being better. And then it also, like, I think transcends onto our kids, where we teach them it's okay to fail. We teach them it's okay to take risks and try new things, and that failure is a very normal, real part of life.
Yeah, for sure. So go down below. Let us know what your fears are right now, what excuses you're using to
What's
not
holding
act.
you back?
Yeah. And then just get started. Write those things down, question them.
And what is it that you want?
Yeah.
What is it that you always have dreamed about doing, or thought about doing, or talked with your girlfriends about doing, or your husband? Like, what is that dream? And then look at your list of all those excuses you're making, and then look at, like, what am I good at? Like, what is my strength?
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that strength, choose one thing that will start on that goal.
Yes. Just
Good.
takes baby steps.
Could be just reading a book, or
Yes.
doing a Google search.
Yes. You can go to the University of Google
And
/ YouTube.
find- yes.
Anything you want is on that channel. So we challenge you to go and take action. Really look at your fears, really look at your excuses, and then just act.
Get started. Thank you guys for joining us today.